He was a lawyer. He was a psychologist. He was an inventor. He was the creator of Wonder Woman. And he was polyamorous. He was William Marston, one of the most interesting men I have ever come across. Marston graduated from Harvard Law in 2015 and went on to obtain a PhD in psychology 3 years later with a thesis entitled Systolic Blood Pressure Symptoms of Deception and Constituent Mental States. The inspiration for this research had been a comment by his wife, also a lawyer and psychologist, about her blood pressure spiking when she became anxious. During his law school days, William had become interested in the reliability of witness testimony, and now he wondered if dishonesty could be experimentally determined. Surely, he thought, being untruthful must produce some anxiety. Following up on this theory, Marston developed a device to simultaneously measure blood pressure and breathing rate and claimed it could detect deception. This forerunner of the polygraph played a significant role in the 1923 murder trial of James Frye in Washington. The judge ruled that Marston's finding that Frye was telling the truth when he declared his innocence was inadmissible because the link between blood pressure and lying was not generally accepted by the scientific community. General acceptance became the Frye standard under which the validity of expert witness testimony would be determined for the next 70 years. Marston's private life was certainly not in the generally accepted category. While teaching at Tufts University, Marston fell in love with Olive Byrne, one of his students. He was still in love with his wife, Elizabeth, who oddly accepted William bringing Olive into the household. This bizarre polyamorous relationship seems to have worked, as William fathered 2 children with each of the women. Allegations that women may also have been involved in a romantic relationship with each other have been denied by the family. Curiously, it seems they had just become good friends and even lived together for 40 years after William died. Marston flittered from one teaching position to another as hints of his ménage à trois surfaced. Along the way, he wrote books and articles, all sorts, and in one of these he made some comments about the positive value of comics. That came to the attention of Maxwell Charles Gaines, who was the publisher of the Superman and Batman comics, and these were being criticized at the time for being too violent. Gaines hired Marston to fend off such criticism, and that's when he came up with the idea of Wonder Woman, who would have the strength of Superman plus allure of a good and beautiful woman. Marston was a feminist, having been convinced by his research with the lie detector that women were more trustworthy and less aggressive than men and were the superior gender. In the very first issue of Wonder Woman, he introduced her as a symbol of integrity and humanity who appears as though from nowhere to avenge an injustice or to right a wrong. She would do this in a non-violent way. Instead of pow and wham, Wonder Woman wielded the lasso of truth, with which she captured the criminals and forced them to admit their malevolence. An obvious reference to Marston's own escapades with the lie detector. The frequent imagery of Wonder Woman being bound and escaping from chains was a metaphor for breaking free of the restrictions placed on women by a male-dominated world. No wonder that as a tribute to Marston, the first issue of the feminist magazine, Ms., featured Wonder Woman on its cover. And that for today is our Cup of Joe.